In the last few weeks, the K-pop world was shaken by the highly publicized disputes and resulting lawsuits between EXO-CBX and SM Entertainment. The company has already had a reputation for its shady tactics regarding its acts, and this was just another chip in its corporate veneer. Luckily, the two parties settled their issues, but the world watched this drama unfold and are wary of the upcoming comeback. I mean, EXO is already on rocky ground after its long-delayed comeback from its members' rotating military service, and Kai was forcibly sent to serve his mandatory enlistment before this comeback could even take place. And so fans have been angry and emotional that this much-anticipated comeback has been tainted by these scandals. Unfortunately, this isn't the only example on this week's video about ruined K-pop comebacks. Issues arise with comebacks. It's just a fact of life when you mix artistry with deadlines and life's and twists and turns. Then you throw in superfans and unforeseen circumstances, and it can be a potential cocktail of drama. In the case of Girls' Generation's 2014 track Mr.Mr, the girls' comeback was delayed 2 weeks due to a corrupted master file with their video footage, forcing the group to reshoot through parts of the music video. The delay forced the comeback to go head-to-head against 21's already scheduled Crush album release. To make matters worse, the K-pop boy group Mr.Mr and their agency called out SM Entertainment for shady tactics to damage the competition in the industry. And so the group released their own self-titled diss track aimed at Girls' Generation for the damage caused by the release of their song. However, despite it all, Mr.Mr would still disband, and Girls' Generation technically had a commercially successful comeback. Commercial failure is one thing, but some comebacks are ruined by a domestic fan base. Back in 2018-19, NCT 127 was making its foray in the United States, and in 2019, the group followed up with Superhuman. Korean netizens boycotted the comeback because at this point, NCT Dream had not made its own comeback in many months. And after learning that American fans paid far less for the right to interact with their stans while also getting first dibs on promotions was just too much. Thanks to the domestic fans' boycott, the shift to the futuristic funky pop sound of Superhuman was labeled a flop within N-Citizen fandom, and it sadly served as a stain in their discography. Stains are minor when compared to accidents though. Back in 2013, SM Entertainment set out to have SHINee embark on multiple comebacks throughout the year. The boys were on course to release the second part of their full-length album, The Misconceptions of Me, which later became a part of The Misconceptions of Us. However, the lead singer Jonghyun was involved in a car accident which forced him to miss the scheduled music video shoot. The comeback still went on without him, upsetting many fans because of SM's decision. Jonghyun joined the comeback cycle at the very end, but the song's overall reception never received the same praise as their other tracks as a result. Luckily for SHINee, fans forgave the situation and the group's success continued. However, the same can't be said for T-ara. Before the back-to-back Bullygate scandals of 2021, T-ara received her own significant backlash in 2012 when former member Hwayoung alleged that she was a victim of bullying by her fellow members. While this allegation was later proven false, the group fell from grace and the damage was permanent. T-ara's company didn't adequately address the situation and pushed ahead with the group's Sexy Love comeback while the scandal was still churning in everyone's minds. That comeback and each subsequent comeback never reached the same level of attention and success as T-ara's height in previous years. So, Hwayoung got her dark revenge in the end after all. At least for T-ara, the girls still had groundbreaking historical moments in their career, but when it comes to Stellar, the group's story was different. With the debut EP released in 2014, the girls' company released teasers involving a stripping game promotion that had fans liking posts to reveal members' body parts. Fuel was added to the fire when the scandalous 19+ music video was released with provocative choreography. The public reaction was negative and it drew criticism for fans who dwelled in a seemingly innocent K-pop industry at the time. This was 2014 after all. The stunt detracted from the song's amazing quality and created a negative perception of the group from then on. However, the comeback started conversations about double standards regarding female sexual expression and artistry, and within a couple of years, many successful female comebacks had sexual overtones. But sexualizing members is no stranger to K-pop, but when it came to IU's 2015 comeback album Chat-shire, her song Zeze received criticism for its sexualization of 5-year-old protagonists from the popular Brazilian book My Sweet Orange Tree, which was also reimagined for their album cover as well. To some, it was regarded as pedophilic, as haters interpreted the song in the worst possible way and damaged the reputation in the worst way. To many's eyes, they saw this as an opportunity for antis to witch hunt IU and find ways to bring her popularity down. Controversial songs are a common occurrence in K-pop, and a year before IU's comeback, Block B member Zico found himself embroiled in backlash with the first public solo track Tough Cookie for his use of a Confederate flag and a gay slur in his lyrics.
Cause I'm tough cookie, tough cookie, tough cookie, tough cookie, tough cookie, tough cookie, cause I'm tough cookie.
The song's MV was taken down and re-uploaded with adjusted lyrics, and his company 7 Seasons and Zico himself apologized for the use of the words to explain that they were in no way directed towards homosexuals in a belittling sense. Some fans defended the use, saying that it was all just a part of rap, but despite the defense, Zico's song's overall popularity was stunted as a result of the controversy. Controversies like those can ruin an artist's careers and reputation, and the same went for Hyori's 2010 H-Logic album. In the midst of her comeback song Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, fans noticed 7 of the song's albums that were done by the new producer Bonus were allegedly plagiarized. After netizens reached out to the original artist to confirm the allegations, charges ensued, including fraud and obstruction of operations, and Bonus was found to have lied about his professional and educational history. He ultimately pleaded guilty to all of his crimes and was sentenced to a 1.5 years in prison. The scandal took its toll on Hyori, causing her to go on hiatus and stay out of the spotlight until 2013. Fast forward a decade, and another artist and company were under the spotlight, this time with LOONA and BlackBerry Creative. After years of allegedly mishandling their artists, things had finally come to a head when LOONA's company, BlackBerry Creative, BBC, fired its most popular member, Chu. This, combined with a grueling tour that left multiple members hurt and unable to perform, caused all 11 remaining members to file for termination of their contracts. Orbit saw the writing on the wall and quickly organized a boycott, and if there was one group who knows how to organize, it's Orbit's. In the end, the boycott was so successful, BlackBerry Creative actually gave in and canceled the comeback. And what appears to be a happy ending of sorts, all 12 girls were eventually free from the BlackBerry Creative contracts. A canceled comeback might have been the best thing to happen to these girls, and we wish them all the best. Turmoils can shake a group's core, and during the midst of FX's 2014 Red Light comeback, member Sully abruptly left the promotions, citing that she was sick and unable to perform. After her schedules were eventually cleared, SM Entertainment came forward with the statement that Sully was mentally and physically exhausted from the continuous, malicious comments and false rumors that had been spread about her. The group continued on the promotions without her, and she officially withdrew from the group the following year. Sadly, this wasn't the first time we've seen a member leave a group during the middle of promotions. In 2019, MONSTA X was set to release their comeback track, Follow. But days after the music video and album drop, member Wonho faced allegations for drug use and owing large amounts of money to others, and the public pressure forced him to leave the group just days after the news broke. The comeback continued on without Wonho, and although he was eventually cleared of all charges in March 2020, he was never reinstated into the group. At least Wonho and Sully still appeared in the comeback music video, but that can't be said for Pentagon's 2018 Naughty Boy. Just before the comeback, former member Edon was embroiled in controversy with fellow Triple H member Hyuna, where the members came out as an item. Pentagon's comeback was set just after the Triple H promotions, with Edon credited on the album. Cube Entertainment said that the relationship violated their contracts, but didn't announce anything immediately. Member Yanan was already missing from the album's vocals due to health concerns, and this created a controversy of what Cube Entertainment would do. Despite the two members' absences, the album dropped on September 10th, and on September 13th, Cube announced Edon's departure. Many fans were outraged and directed a lot of criticism at Cube Entertainment's decision. Sometimes a comeback happens at the wrong time. Take the case of Block B's intended Jackpot comeback in April 2014, which came to a halt because of a tragedy.
I'm on my way 먼저 뺏을게 처음엔 다들 혀를 차고 어리석다 해
After the music video dropped, the album was ready to be released physically and digitally. The Sewol ferry disaster happened that killed over 300 passengers, many of whom were students. In light of the tragedy, the entire comeback was cancelled. Block B would later officially come back a few months later with Her. Tragedy and grief can have its effect on a comeback, and that can be said with Boa's famous 2003 very successful comebacks of Atlantis Princess and Milky Way. The album was released on May 30th, 2003 and was the 4th best-selling album of the year. However, on July 9, 2003, Boa's manager tragically passed away in a car accident during the promotions, and the entire year was tainted. For many years afterwards, she looked back at the promotions as a dark period and did not perform Atlantis Princess or Milky Way for more than a decade. Car accidents in South Korea and in K-pop are sadly common, and back during Secret's Talk That promotions, the girls were in their own car accident on December 11, 2012. Exactly 1 week after the song's release, the girls all suffered some sort of injury, with member Hana sustaining the most injuries with broken ribs and a bruised lung. The activities were immediately halted for the members to recover, and the comeback was shelved. Accidents can occur in many ways, and sadly for Red Velvet's Wendy, hers came in the form of a stage accident during the rehearsals for the SBS Gala de Jeune. During the rehearsals, Wendy was entering the stage by a set of stairs to the tunnel below when the unsecured stairs fell away, plunging her 2.5 meters or about 10 feet to the concrete below. The fall broke her pelvis and wrist and cracked her cheekbone, and it took her months to recover. Red Velvet had released the song Zico on December 23rd, and the promotions were set to begin during the end of the year show, starting with SBS.
You got me feeling like a psycho, 우리 보고 말해 자꾸.
While the album was commercially successful, the song never got the proper promotional cycle, and the incident was a dark moment in the group's discography. However, nothing compares to the tragedy that occurred in 2014 with the group Ladies Code during the promotions for Kiss Kiss. On a dark, rainy September night, the van the group was in was on its way back to Seoul after an event. The group had been celebrating member Sojung's birthday in the van before falling asleep. The road conditions were slippery after the rain, causing the vehicle to hydroplane before skidding into the wall on the road. Member Eunbi was immediately killed, while member Lise passed away from injuries a few days later. This is one of the darkest moments in K-pop history that forever changed the group and industry.